Hello everybody, welcome to the Socitm 2014 conference. My name is Bryan Glick, I'm the Editor-in-Chief of Computer Weekly. I'm going to be your chair for this afternoon and tomorrow. Delighted to see so many of you here. It's a real pleasure to be able to welcome you to this year's Socitm conference. As a lifelong Liverpool FC supporter, it's slightly less less pleasing to welcome you to the venue. You'll be hearing in a moment from your president, Nick Roberts, who many of you will know is an Arsenal fan. So I'm hoping that he's going to try and justify his choice of bringing you here. I can only assume that the reason we're here is because in this time of austerity, Socitm have probably been able to get this a little bit cheaper, because on Tuesdays and Wednesdays nothing's happening in the stadium. Nonetheless, you've got a real packed day and a half ahead of you, and it's really important we keep to time over during this period of time. I have a few little bits of housekeeping just to mention to you in a minute, but just to start off with a welcome. I've been writing about technology journalism, watching what's going on in the public sector for about 15 years now. And as an observer of what you all do, I've got to say this is probably the most interesting time that I can recall in terms of writing about what's going on in the public sector and what's happening with local government. The timing of this particular conference, of course, at the end of a 5-year parliamentary cycle and an election next year, is going to bring a fresh set of challenges, whoever wins the election next year. You've all had a good 5 years of some fairly serious austerity, and certainly as an observer it seems to me that during this time of lots of cost cuts going on, it has been a great opportunity for people within IT and local government to really show their value and make their mark within the organisations that they work for. Of course, that austerity is almost certainly not going away over the next few years as well. So that opportunity, in a good way, one hopes, is only going to continue. There are so many interesting things going on at the moment, all of which I'm sure you're going to be hearing speakers about today and tomorrow, and no doubt talking to each other about. Particularly, of course, what we have come to call digital government. There's been a lot of great work going on in Whitehall around the government digital service and within some of the departments in terms of really changing the way that technology is approached and digital is delivered for public services. Equally, I know there's a lot going on in local government as well. There are some people here today who I know are among some very pioneering councils who are doing some really interesting work, and I'm sure you're going to be keen to talk to them and find out more about what they've been going through. The number of challenges will only continue to go on. You've all faced the joy of PSN over the last 12 months, and hopefully slightly less joy from that, slightly less trouble from that in the near future. Great challenges like health and social care integration coming up, and of course, following the Scottish referendum, we are no doubt over the next year or so going to be having great further debate about devolution, local democracy, which I'm sure will have knock-on effects for local authorities one way or another across the country. But I think probably one of the things that is most important underlying this, and one of the things that has been happening to such a great degree over the last few years, is just the importance of everybody in this sector working together, collaborating, doing their best to share ideas, to share projects, and I think hopefully that's the real opportunity over the next day and a half for everybody here, is the chance to network, to meet people, to share ideas, to find out what each other is doing, and I hope you'll all get an opportunity to take away from this day and a half with some new ideas and some new stimulus to some of the projects that you currently have underway. In terms of just a little bit of housekeeping before we kick off the first speaker, you should find among all the packs that you've got, I think probably in the backpacks you've been given, there's a feedback form in there. Encourage you to fill that out as you go through the event and hand that into the organisers at the end. I'm told there is an app for this conference, a Socitm app available on the App Store. If you haven't already downloaded it, please do. I think that'll give you a nice easy way to tell you what's going on here over the next day and a half. For those of you who are tweeting from here today, please use the hashtag #Socitm2014. Any other information you need, you'll find in your delegate packs, maps and so forth will all be in there. I'm told we're not expecting any fire alarms over the next day and a half, so if you hear the fire alarm going, it's probably a good idea to get out and try and find somewhere safe. Whether you find somewhere that's not in the middle of the eye of a hurricane is another matter, but somewhere safe, somewhere safe at the very least. And should any of you so desire, the toilets are just up the front here, which of course is the perfect place because everybody can see you walking up there and everybody can see you walking back. So let's get on with the show. Your first speaker today is your president, Nick Roberts, who's going to talk about some of the key initiatives that Socitm have underway. Straight after Nick, we're going to go straight into your second keynote presenter, who is Chi Onura. Chi is, as you probably know, is a Labour MP from Newcastle, Shadow Cabinet Office Minister, and in particular, she's been leading Labour's digital government review over the last few months. I'm sure she'll be talking to you about some of that. We'll listen to Nick and listen to Chi one after the other, and then we'll open up for a few questions to both of them after that, and there'll be people with microphones to run around and allow you to be heard properly for that. So, enjoy the afternoon. I'll tell you where things are happening as we go through. Please do make the most of your time here, and in the meantime, I'll hand over to you.